Okay, welcome to another episode of Samvad. We have Hema Ramesh with us. She's 44 years old and she's a quite a miraculous story. She joined for weight loss. She's lost 30 plus kgs. She's now cycled 100 plus kilometers in one shot, in one 5 hour ride. So her transformation from being overweight, and she's of course an IT professional, and all the way to a long distance cyclist is what we'll hear about today. Hema, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, and thanks for giving the opportunity. Um, so, to start with, this is 2023. I would like to go back. I would like to explain my journey like 2 years back when I was just confined to my household chores. I was just a housewife plus a working woman. Both I was handling both. I have been always living in a joint family with my in-laws, parent-in-laws, my parents, and my two kids who are like 13-year-old and 10-year-old. So if I look back before 2 years, my whole agenda was fixed. Like I've always been an early riser, so getting up at 4 o'clock, taking baths, straight away going into kitchen, start preparing all the food for all the people, and then once that is done, sending the kids to school, then coming back and logging in for my office work, and that's it. Like this was my journey, like this was my agenda for the whole day. But I always had very low energy levels when I used to get up in the morning. I was always like having some problem or other. Like I always had some health issues, some knee pain, and one of the major problem was my weight. I was weighing 96.7 kgs after my second delivery. After my second delivery, I again had some gynecological issues, and I had to undergo a major surgery, a hysterectomy. And that actually, post my hysterectomy, I was like blown up. I became 96.7. I had no ray of hopes. Like I had left, I was not able, I was very confused what to do. Because I tried couple of diet programs. I tried something on my own actually in 2018. I actually lost 8 kilos at that time. It was like I used to do Zumba and walking. And in my diet plan, I had a misconception that if I reduce, say, rice completely from my diet, plus cutting down the sugar. I was always a sugar. I always liked sugar, so sugar tooth. So I actually completely knocked off all these things, and in 3 months I lost 8 kilos in 2018. But after 3 months, it was I was not able to sustain. I was back to square one because of the stress levels I had, like at the work side, at the house side, right? I always again there was some binge eating which was going on, and I never looked into never came back. Like it's again a back to square one. In fact, this increased my weight 20 kilos more. I was around 75 or something when I had undergone the surgery. But after 2 years, I was blown up to 96.7. So at one point of time, I was just thinking that I might touch the century. So this was my past. In 2020, this was like COVID times. From January till October, I actually gained 4 kilos more because during COVID times, we all were at home. I used to try new recipes. My husband actually gifted me a bread maker. So I used to make bread on like daily basis. All unhealthy stuff and everything. Like there was a lot of binge eating as well. So it happened in around I would say September 2020 when my husband's colleague, who was diabetic and 37-year-old, who was a very good friend of us, he actually died because of diabetes and COVID. Like he got COVID, but the major reason was diabetes. He actually got gangrene all over his body, and he died pathetically actually. So this was something which was an eye opener for both myself and my husband. My husband was pre-diabetic, and he actually wanted to get rid of the diabetic medicines. I think metamorphin, which I have heard that we have read a lot in Google and all that it's not a very good medicine. It's a killer. So he was no okay.
Not
So he was
demonizing any medicines.
yeah. So
They're doing their job because we don't do ours.
okay. So my husband Ramesh, who was actually searching for something, some good diet plan or a process which is sustainable for both of us, for himself to get rid of diabetes. He was not very overweight. He had this pre-diabetic issue only, and for me it was mainly the weight loss. So while doing the search in the Facebook, actually we got some videos of Dr. Pramod Tripathi, which we both found very impressive, very effective. And we actually attended a trial session. Like there were frequent trial sessions which Pramod sir was delivering. So in one of the trial sessions, we both attended it very consciously, not that just not for the purpose of attending. And that was somewhere around September 30th or something, end of September. And that was an eye opener for us, because the way Pramod sir explained us about the lifestyle change and all, it really kicked us. We both decided that let us give it a try. Since we both are working from home, I also had time to do all the stuff. So we joined this FFD program straight away in the month of October. So with all the phases, beautifully developed protocols and all, we were so diligent since October, I would say, for almost a year. I would say we were so diligent, we never deviated anything. Not a single time we had deviated. With all the protocols, I would say that in the month of October itself, I reduced around 8 kilos post eating properly. It's not like no fasting, nothing. And then as we went ahead with different phases, I actually lost around 35 kilos. So it was like from 96 to I would say 65. I reached around 65. So that was a beautiful journey of 1 year. And if you ask me today, like what Hema is, I would say that I really feel athletic. I think I have an athletic identity in place. And that is something which I have really, it's a big achievement for me in my life.
So more than the IT and more than the mother and more than the wife, everything. So which one have you put down? Have you put down the wife identity and taken on the athletic one now?
Um,
Tell your husband now. Now wife is now no time now.
See, for my husband, I would say that he was one of my biggest motivation. Without him, I would have not achieved, because he always used to push me. Right from the diet thing, I used to manage everything in kitchen, but definitely he was my motivation, because we used to do everything hand in hand. And as far as cycling, today I'm being called as a cyclist. We have a group in Ward T, Mulund, where I am one of the bicycle marshals.
Yeah.
And the bicycle counselor, and who is now the bicycle mayor for Mumbai, Dr. Vishwanathan Iyer, he actually looks upon me for some volunteering things in cycling, right? So if I see that the cycling is a stuff which is entirely, I would like to dedicate to my husband, because he was the person who motivated me.
So
He
as
was,
we famously say, Emma, there's a saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman, right? But behind every successful fit woman, there's a
absolutely.
progressive, slightly, motivational man, which is, and a very subtle motivation. It can't be gross. Like men tend to be very men with men, like get up, go, but with women, it doesn't work that way. You all have your priorities, and I think it's been amazing how he's been able to, you know, support you. And we've seen all your posts over the last 2 years on the athlete groups, and it's been so, it's been together, the journey. It's not been him off on one trip and you off on one trip, and you know I think that's been one of the highlights of your, I think a lot of people underestimate that when two people join, their effect is in fact greater than when one person joins, significantly greater. And wouldn't you say so? It's made life easier.
Absolutely. For me, actually, what I feel is if especially the partners, like husband and wife, if they join together, it is definitely a motivation to each other. You don't get a feeling like I'm left out. Like how we used to follow was whatever I was eating, he used to follow. He used to follow the same regime. So our entire regime, fitness regime was similar. So we used to motivate each other. If I'm getting deviated, see, as I said that I am a sweet tooth, right? If
Correct.
I had that craving, he used to manage that. Like he used to motivate me कि तू देख कहाँ से कहाँ आ गई करके. So definitely, I would say that we both had played a lot pivotal role in both this fitness level to increase the fitness level.
And other kids, what are the kids saying?
Okay, so as far as my kids are concerned, my elder one, who is 13 years old, she just completed 50-kilometer ride. It was a great sense of
Wow.
achievement for her. And my little one, who is 10 years old, she has completed the maximum she did is 46 kilometers. And they do it very easily
Yeah.
because they have seen me 2 years back. The mother I used to be like, typically, khana khao, ye karo, padai karo. But now every Sunday I tell her, chalo utho, let us go for cycling.
Yeah.
And I used to cover them. Like my husband used to take care of my little one, who is like more adventurous. She's like my husband, and the elder one, who is typically more like me, a little bit on
Yeah.
serious side.
More
Like,
conservative, yeah.
yeah.
No, but that's an
So,
interesting thing you said because we tend to expect the men to be more adventure driven in a parent-child relation, and the mother to be more
yeah,
well nurturing and care and love and all those things. Men are more gross with their let's go for side, let's go up a mountain. But I think when women can so easily play that role, and I think you have demonstrated that, which is I think it'll their whole life. I think they would probably hold that as a benchmark and not
yeah.
outsource adventure to the husband. You know, so it's
So
it's
I
it's
normally get a comment from my 10-year-old almost on a daily basis. Amma, you are like, you are really looking very fit. You're looking like my sister. And I was really happy that once she came happily from the school, she had taken up a family photo. They had some activity. And she came back home saying that, Mama, my teacher was asking, who is this third person? Is she your elder sister?
elder sister.
And
Yeah,
I was telling my husband, see, we three are like your kid now. So that was
yeah,
a great compliment, and I think I really have to thank FFD. I have to thank yourself, Dr. Pramod sir. You have been really a great guidance and guide and mentor for us. And sir, I used to talk to you a lot, if you remember,
yeah,
for any problems. In between, I had a problem that I became a weight obsessed person also. Like
yeah,
when I actually reduced up to 62 at one point of time, and then I joined gym. Now I'm doing like 3 days gym and 3 days cycling, 3 days cardio, which is mostly cycling. So at one point of time when I started taking protein, which was the
yeah,
need of the hour, right? So I again gained a lot of lean mass,
yeah,
but again became weight obsessed, that why my weight is again increasing. Like today I am at 68, 69. So I was feeling bad. Are ye to बढ़ रहा hai. I still remember I spoke to you that day. I actually pinged you that I said I want to talk to you, and you advised me just stop being weight obsessed. It's okay. For a woman, for an Indian woman of your height and all, 70 up to 70 is good. There is absolutely no issues if your lean mass is increasing. So I was like, then I started getting like, I'm okay. That is not a problem.
I
I
remember I
am
told you as
living.
long as you're not going out of shape, having a little weight here and there doesn't matter. So
Yeah, now I realize it, sir, because in between I was really, I had become too
yeah,
much
it
of weight
happens.
obsessed. Yeah.
Yeah, we get and we get we it's a linear goal. We tend to attach all our achievements to numbers. So,
Yeah.
but what did it feel like? What did the first 100 kilometer feel like?
Okay, so I think if I see my cycling journey, I was not ready to touch the cycle at all. So one of the athletic identities I was trying to make, like I used to do Zumba, but that was not sustainable because I had some issues. My teacher and my timings were not matching and all. So at one point of time in the phase 4, I was really frustrated that what should I pick up, because at home I used to do some flexible related exercises and all, but from cardio side, I did prefer running much because somehow I was never a sportive person. I was not an athletic person in my past also. So my husband actually motivated me that why don't you try cycling? Maybe you will like it. You should do it once. So the first ride which I did was a 20-kilometer ride on a ladybird. I took
Oh,
my daughter's cycle and I just did Mulund to Vikroli. And then when I came back, I really had a great sense of achievement. That 20 kilometers, I think that is, I would have never imagined myself doing that. Then my second ride was the group was planning a Siddhi Vinayak Darshan, and I really wanted to do that. So that time, my husband was a little skeptical because I was not having a gear wala cycle. This ladybird was a gearless. So he was just telling me that, would you be able to do it? Because there are a lot of ups and downs. So I just told him that maybe this is a sign Ganpati Bappa wants me to come. So maybe let me give a try. If I'm not able to make it, I'll go back. But the second ride was my 50-kilometer ride on a ladybird, and that was my turning point. Like I just felt that no, cycling is something which I will be able to do, and that is something which is appeasing me a lot. And I immediately bought a good Firefox Gearwala cycle.
good.
Now, post that, I used to do, as per the FFD protocol, I used to do two weekdays around 30-kilometer ride, I would say. And on Saturdays, I used to do 50. But then at one point of time, I registered myself for a BRM group, and I was checking a lot of posts even in F50 groups, like especially Thomas sir and all, who used to do a lot of cycling and all. So my next aim was to do at least 100 kilometer.
Yeah.
So we actually registered. We actually did. We planned one Titwala ride from Mulund to Titwala, and that was my husband's birthday. So we both wanted to go and have a darshan. So we did that. We went to Titwala. It was like one way was 45 kilometers, which 45 kilometers. Yeah, we completed that. But while returning back, it was summertime. It was
Yeah.
March 26th.
Very hot.
It was very hot, and by the time I reached back to Thane, I was totally drained out. At one point of time, I gave up. Like somewhere in between,
Yeah.
I had to sit and I had to hydrate myself. By the time I came back my home, it was 90 kilometers. So I just gave up. I told I know I won't be able to do the rest 10, and I came back home. So that was my longest ride. Post that, again, I made up that I should be doing this 100. It's like if 90 is possible, why not 100? So the next ride which I did was through BRM. I registered myself for a BRM thing, and I took a lot of precautions in that. As per FFD protocol, in from Unived, I ordered couple of energy gels, which was recommended to be like I used to have it every half an hour of the ride. I started spot on like 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning from Dahisar. It was Dahisar to I would say it was on the Gujarat highway where we had to come back to Dahisar. So with all precautions, all gears in place, everything in place, a lot of energy gels, ORS and all. That ride was my first BRM ride with 20 kilometer per hour speed, consistent. I did that. And last 10 kilometer, as I said, it was difficult because it was in the month of November. But in Mumbai, you know that it's even November is very hot.
Yeah.
But the last 10 kilometer, I had some learnings. In between, I used to stop and have a lot of water. I used to hydrate myself. And one thing I would like to advise is just keep this cool. So I had poured a lot of water, gila kapda rakha, and I just continued. And that was my first 100 kilometer, which I did very smoothly in 5.5 hours, actually.
Crazy, no? So it just transforms a human being, no? Yeah. So of all the other achievements, this one becomes a very unique one. Any parting words you have for people who are still sitting on the fence, thinking plateau हो गया है, weight loss नहीं हो रहा है, अभी menopause आएगा, ये होएगा, वो होएगा. People have thousands of reasons why they should not do it now. Do you have any message for people who are listening?
I think I just have one message. I've realized over these 2 years that it is not about physical actually. It's all mental game. So you have to break the mental barrier. Today I'm doing everything. I am managing my work. I am also managing my kitchen. Similar way. In fact, I have to prepare two types of food. One is FFD thing which me, my husband, and even the kids are following. And the second is for my in-laws because it's difficult for them to get
At that
changed,
age,
right?
yeah, it's not fair.
So, but I'm still completing I'm still following my fitness. I'm not leaving it. 3 days a gym is a must for me. अगर 8 बजे नहीं होता है तो मैं 10 बजे जाती हूँ. I try to accommodate it in between my calls. Similarly, cycling. अगर आज मुझसे 30 किलोमीटर नहीं हो रहा है वीकडे में, I at least do 10 to 20 kilometers.
Right.
I don't leave it. Yeah. Similarly, Saturdays, when I do long ride, again, kids are at home, right? So I have to come back early. So I make sure that I leave at, say, 5 o'clock so that I come back by 10 o'clock. So I'm able to meet everyone's need. But the one key message I would like to give to all the newcomers or like people who are really trying hard to be fit is it's all mental game. At one point, see, initially it starts with physical, but it ends with the mental game. So if your mind is something which is actually, if I'm seeing the cycling part, it is the mind which rides the cycle, not the legs.
True. That's wonderful. Yes, Hema, thank you so much for wonderful inspiration and keep inspiring.
Sure.
Your kids also become sources of inspiration down the line. I'm sure your legacy will be very intact. Okay, and congrats to Ramesh.
I have one goal as well. I want to come. Me and my husband are planning to come by cycle to Pune to meet you. So that's a big goal for us.
We'll go for a ride together then. If I can keep up.
You will.
Okay. Chalo, great. See you guys soon. Thank you so much, Hema. It's a pleasure. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, and thanks to you and Pramod, sir. You have been the key mentors for us.
We are just the zippers on the jacket. The jacket is the team who works with you, and there's so many back end people who do so much work, and we're just the guys.
I think I would really like to thank everyone. Sorry to mention, like I forgot to mention that. I would really thank everyone.
Yeah. We both just are the camera facing guys. There's a huge team there, but yeah. But thank you so much. I'll pass on the message for sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.